Hello everyone. This is a tutorial on using a procedural map such as wood that you find in 3ds Max. You can control the thickness, the direction, and the complexity of the grain on the wood. In this image, we can see how a tree is cut to get the best pieces of wood considering the direction and location of the wood grain. Specific things require specific pieces of wood. Like the center piece is usually the strongest one and is used in columns to support some heavy construction. The other ones you could use in toys, furniture, etc. Sometimes it's necessary to show realistic wood when you design something you want to build, like in this illustration. I went to the lumber store to see the actual wood pieces, and I took pictures and notes and dimensions, and later I could design this, and I built it exactly like it. So now let's get started. I will make a box of 12 by 12 by 12 inches for this exercise. I will add a standard material from 3ds Max. The color is not important for at this time. Now I will add the procedural map. It's called wood, and it's underneath this list here at the bottom, And you can drag and drop the map onto the material editor, and you connect the map to the diffuse color button. Assign the material to the box we created. Let's render this and see what we get. Now you can see the piece of wood doesn't seem to be right. Now we will work on the map parameters. I'm going to move this over here so we can see both windows, and we can see all the changes we will make. But before, hold a second. First, let me change the viewport materials to shaded and to show realistic maps. This way we can see the adjustments as we make them. Now back in the slate materials, change the grain thickness to 1. From here we can adjust the grain thickness to get a better proportion for this 12 inch block of wood. The radial noise changes the complexity of the circular rings of the tree. A value of 0 eliminates all the imperfections, but it is not realistic. The axial noise adds complexity to the lines along the long side of the wood. A 0 value will make straight lines, so let's add some complexity on both parameters. The offset values here for X, Y, and Z will move the map outside the box. Let's say you want to move on the Y direction, then you change the offset on the Y direction. That moves the map outside the box. Changing the values on X in this case doesn't show too much difference because the actual noise is very minimal. The noise is very minor, so you can't tell much. Tiling is not recommended, but it can be useful. Sometimes you can compress the wood grain, especially when you imitate like hardwood grain or hardwood materials. So let's see what happens. Make tiling 3. It doesn't show 3 parts, but it condenses it like 3 times. So for now, the most important thing now is the angle coordinates. The angle refers to the value as when you spin the map over 360 degrees. That's why they're talking about the angle. I use this little gadget to check in which direction I want to spin or move my map. When you turn this, you see the shaded color. That refers to the angle. For example, if I want to move this part of the map to the top, and I don't know which one to use, which is a bit confusing, then I will use the rotate gizmo, and I will spin the box just to see in which axis it's rotating. And I can see it's on the y-axis here. So let's see it again. See the little shade in green? So we'll change this to 90. The map is now on top of the box, or at least the circular area is on top of the box. That's where I wanted it to have. Let's try moving this to the front. So by using the gizmo again, you can see which of the axis you need to change. That's the x-axis. We'll write 90 here, and that's how you can move it. This way it's much easier to work with the position of the map, and it's less confusing. Now let's make a simple scene using the wood procedural map. I'll make some changes to this piece of wood, and let's build something. I don't know, well, let's make 2 planks here. You know, one advantage of using this type of map is that it does not need a UVW map coordinates or a handler. The map works on any type of polygon, as you will see later. One disadvantage is that you can't have too many variations of grain. There's only so much the computer will do. But for the most part, it's very good. It has done for me at least very well. In some cases, I have to use a JPEG or a bitmap image just to get the wood to look like something I saw in a photograph. But this is useful for other purposes. Especially if you are a designer and you like to do things out of wood. If you want to make things for someone and you want to build it, you can design it this way and imitate the real finished product. Now you can make adjustments to your polygons anytime after you apply the map. You know, once you convert to poly, or you twist, you add other modifiers, the map will still hold its shape. And all procedural maps work this way, like the ones on brick or on tile. Let me draw here something like a complicated type of polygon and a column so you can see the results. Okay, that's better. Okay, now we can do is I will make just a duplicate. I will duplicate these maps so we can have one map for each piece, or at least we have different controls for each piece of wood. I'm going to call this top, and this other one I'm going to call it the back. I'm going to use that. Now let me adjust the values for this piece of wood as we did on the tutorial. I will make the adjustments, and I'll change the direction of the cut for this one. This doesn't look realistic. So maybe we'll just go back to 0 here, have it this way, and that looks much better. All right, now let me make another duplicate map for the columns. So we can make a, we can use different wood and different pattern. Here, this seems to be doesn't look right. All right, I'm going to flip this to the top again. Let me see it. It needs to go on the y-axis. You can see it here. So we'll change that angle on the y-axis to 90, and we have that looking better. But it's still not interesting enough. That doesn't look right again. So I'll make a few changes here, moving the noise and the grain, and maybe even tilting that y angle just a little bit more. We could even let's see, offset it a little bit more too. So when it's off to the side, it looks a little better. There, that looks better. That's much better. We can apply the same map to the other column, since both are sort of similar, but we'll see. Well, that looks acceptable. Let's see. All right. This is basically all you have to do. Now I will change the wood color, and I found samples of wood on the web, which is a lot nicer to do it this way rather than trying to guess the color or trying to make a color from your mind. It's best to get a good photograph of samples of wood color, because the color of the wood is not only the type of wood, but it's also the stain or the paint that is used on the transparency and the reflection and all that. So when you see an example, you may be looking at something that was finished that has a certain type of reflection as well. So it's best to copy this way. So select the colors and copy them, the dark and the light of the same color, and make some adjustments to your render. And then that's the end of it. That's all it is. So thank you for watching, and I hope you like this tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe and like.